All right, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Go with the Flow. I'm your host, Folarin Okulaja, here with another very, very special guest. And these are honestly my favorite type of episodes because this came about through the internet. It's my first time meeting you right now in person.
Straight up.
And I kind of like doing it that way. A lot of episodes that I've done, it's people that I'm close with, and we kind of have that rapport. But one of the things that I'm most excited about is episodes like this where we're meeting each other for the first time and I'm actually just going to chop it up that way. But welcome to the show, Mr. Moda.
How's it going? Thank you for having me, Fo. It's an honor really being here on this platform. I've been watching the growth and the different artists and different people you have actually really just the interesting stories I've been seeing. Mainly my guy from All Beef. All Love No Beef.
Yes, sir.
And
Jordan Allen.
Jordan. Yep. Yeah, he came through and really gave me a lot of inspiration to want to come and talk more about my brand. And I just loved how you guys' chemistry was, and it just made me feel like, I'm ready to start doing more of these things.
I love that, and I appreciate that because that's exactly why I made this platform. But just to get going, give the people your background. Who are you? Where are you from?
Well, my name is fully Moda, the fashion. You might know me as that, mostly. But known as Mr. Moda. I'm an artist. I have a background in publications and doing event planning and artist development. That was kind of my thing. But since then, I've been a congressional award-winning artist for the last 13 years now. So I've been mainly focused on my art passions, my creative ideas, and just gaining the skills on how I can go about doing that. And mainly in this portion of my career, I've been wanting to focus more on storytelling,
Yep.
and different ways on doing that. So, the last 12, 13 years been more about me painting and trying to tell my story about where I come from. I'm from Jamaica, Queens. I'm Jamaican, Haitian born, still learning so much about myself, but yeah, I'm Haitian American and born in Jamaica, Queens, and my art has been able to take me around the world, and learn more things about not only about my culture, but the arts and the other things about the world that I want to learn, So, yeah.
Yeah, cool. That's a perfect segue because you are a very creative, multi-talented person. You're involved in a bunch of different things, but I feel like the painting and the art is one of the key factors of who you are. So let's even just start right there. Take me back to the start.
Right,
How'd you get into art?
That's
How'd you
the
get
whole
into
thing.
painting?
I'm, and I appreciate that you noticing that. The thing with me, I'm Mr. Fashion, like a la Moda. My whole life is about what is going on now. I'm always like to try to stay in the now, not trying to stress about the future, and even then, mostly more recently the past, So yeah, for me, I'm fashion. I'm something that's always buying and selling. That's the character I've decided to be in my life.
Yeah.
I'm always gonna be like whatever is the now.
Got it.
I'm always gonna do that, and in doing so, I've been able to tell my story more accurately through fashion, but then later growing into art canvases, doing like that. So fashion was always like my love and thing, but the more I grew to learn things about myself, the more I wanted to express myself in bigger ways that I just couldn't do in the particular fashion environment that I was in at the time.
Yeah. Okay. So then in that case, let's start with the fashion then, and then we can get to the painting later on.
Yeah.
When it comes to fashion, clothing, what was it that initially drew you to that certain form of expression?
Really, one, seeing my mom and growing up, my mom, my grandparents, my family, people in the neighborhood that I saw that got their way with the way that they were like embodying their own character. You know what I mean? From the influences they saw on TV, you know what I mean, or just around. For me in Queens, like it was a lot of people locally, it was the gangsters, the hustlers, people like that, like seeing the kind of respect that they would get. And it wasn't all about like this aggression, ignorant kind of thing most people look at. It was a lot of knowledge there that I didn't find in school. I didn't find necessarily in those spaces. So seeing the way that they were respected and how they embodied their own character, and they would dress in nice suits and furs and, you know, different things that I seen transcend our neighborhood to being on the big screen and in these publications and magazines. I'm like, wow, just rocking your hat to the side, like Jay-Z, that really have you in the paper, like for real, like, you know what I mean? And so it's like that helped me develop a lot of my own character, like, you know, being able to just express myself. And yeah, you know, fashion was very welcoming to that.
Yeah, and that's one of the things about fashion that I've also grown to appreciate is just the ways in which you can express yourself.
Right.
I look back, I think about myself and my journey with fashion, and my fashion, that's my style.
Now, I'm going to say, I like this put together too. I was going to say, like, yeah, show the feet a little bit. It's like, yeah, it's the leg.
It's a little matching. It's
calm, though. Like, I like it. I like it.
Appreciate that.
You know what I mean? It's crazy. You know what's ill, like being in New York, like that's it right there. It's like, yo, what time of the year is it right now? Like, look at our fits.
Like, true. People wear Timbs in the summer. They wear coats in the summer. It is what it is. But you know, the beauty about fashion is that it is it's a very genuine way of self-expression that you can put out every single day.
Right.
What you wear, you're able to be creative with it. And for me, I look back on like elementary, middle school. It wasn't something I really cared about, but it wasn't until like late high school, early college, and definitely moving to the city that I've now seen myself evolve and really lean into, okay, I'm able to put my own spin on things, my own twist on things, and just it's a very easy way to express yourself.
Right. And just to piggyback off that, like growing up, I really wasn't super into fashion in the way that it may seem now. I was very anti-fashion about how the trends were, like what it's supposed to look like. You know, I kind of didn't like the things people at the time. It was very like clean and neat, you know, how to do things like, and that could only be what would be considered high fashion, you know. So for me, I like to experiment with something I call like trap goth.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And it's like a mix between comfortability and, you know, alternative style, but more like appreciating in design. You know, like I'm big on like design and just like the look of things, you know. It's not just so much as the fit, like that's there too, but how much effort was put into something, you know what I mean?
Yep.
I like to see that. Even the shirt that you're wearing, like I can tell somebody put a lot of effort.
Shout out Damaged Goods, Cole Robbie. It's my boy who I had him on the podcast. I had him on the podcast.
That piece is well selected in the color, everything. So
I'm gonna send him this clip. He's gonna appreciate it.
You know, shout out to you. Where's Damaged Goods?
Damaged Goods Clothing is the name of the brand. Shout out Cole Robbie. He came on the podcast. Yeah, he'll appreciate that.
So and that's just something that I've always liked, and growing up in it, and now we're here in the future, and I see that there are a lot of brands that are coming about that are taking that time in not just the quality of the garment, but the design too. Like, you know, you know, back in the day, you buy a plain thing and it'll just it'll be expensive, but it has the name on it, you know, and it's like, all right, cool, but like, why the brand? Like, you know, what it is. So what is it that people are in love with it for, you know? So I feel like people are now pushing the envelope, and that what brings me to art.
Yeah.
You know, with having a deeper connection with the audience that you're selling to. Like, people have their own beliefs, whether you like it or not. You know what I mean? Whether, you know, that's something I grew up also being afraid of, like politics and talking about your personal religion or the things you like or love. People have their own lifestyle, their sexual lifestyle, you know, all those things. These are things we were taught to stay away from, and when branding ourselves, you know. And for me, like I said, I grew up in a place, in an area at the time where everyone was, you know, raw. Like, you know, people were just telling it like it is, you know. And you know, I wanted to keep that, you know. As I grew, I always wanted to always be truthful and honest about who I am and the people I care about, you know.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, like, you know, trap lives matter, you know. You know what I mean? Like the people who you don't see, that a lot of these trends may birth from, the pain that takes that goes into it, that forges these ideas, you know what I mean? It's not always a happy day that you're having that makes you like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go do that thing. It's like, nah, maybe you got your ass kicked all week.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you're like, nah, like, I'm fighting back. Everybody's like, yeah, fight back. You know what I mean? So, you know, so you know, that I wanted to embody that, and I felt, as I've done fashion, getting into art helped me express that and become this person in my character, fully adopt my role as Mr. Fashion.
Yeah.
Mr.
And even one of the things that I'm getting out of what you just said is that you need a why behind anything. Every brand needs to have a why. I actually had a very good conversation with Jordan a couple weeks ago because a friend of mine and I were actually trying to start a life.
Yeah, because I know that's got to be a venture for him, like, you know, when transitioning with food and then making the branding, the clothing brand.
Yeah,
so it's like, what's your why behind your clothing
Exactly,
brand?
exactly.
Yeah.
And so one of my friends and I were actually trying to start a lifestyle brand, and we're going to have some clothing behind it. And that's where we're speaking a lot about. And I had gone initially just asking questions about what manufacturer do you use, how do you go about picking the amount of orders that you're going to sell. And then he was actually like, you guys need to focus on the why and make sure that your why is there.
Right.
So then speaking about your clothing brand, so it's called The Old Black, I believe.
Well, it started off as The Old Black. That's crazy. That was like some Nardwuar joint. Like, yo, it's crazy.
Hey, I do my research.
Well, for real, like, that's crazy. So that's a good point though. It started off as the I made this brand and I was like, yo, all black, like that's the new black. And then I made the Instagram The Old Black, and everyone just kept calling it The Old Black. And I ended up coining it like that, like, you know, and it was more about like the original man, the original concept, you know what I mean? Like, about that, where do things come from, you know, and my quest to finding that. Since, right, it's led me to being all over the place, like, and I you know, we always like to say, like, you know, I'm really outside, you know. So I actually started developing the brand and redeveloping the brand, and I've been working on something called the Art of Outside.
Okay.
You know, the gallery that's outside, the one that we, you know, I spend a lot of my career trying to get in a gallery, and I felt like later on I realized, like, yo, I was always in one. Like, I was always a part of like this other unknown gallery that even the curators like to come and hang out in, you know, and that's where I'm at. It's where I'm well received. I feel like that's the world I want to continue to cultivate. You know what I mean? Like,
Gotcha.
Let people know, like, it's okay to be on the outside of things. You know
I like that. Yeah. And even just one more before we get to the painting.
Yeah.
When it comes to you with clothing, you just described how the values and the why mattering. What for you is the why behind why you even make clothes in your own brand?
Yeah, you know what I mean? More so the why for me, you know, I couldn't say it's a lot of things, but my main thing is always been for, you know, it's gonna sound cliche, but like it's like the younger me, but I know it's deeper than me. It's not just really about me. It's never really been about me. But it is for that youth, that useful person, that person who really doesn't have any direction. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I do this for that, to show that there is purpose here for you. You know what I mean? And I remember in the beginning when I was doing just anything, just becoming a young man, wanting to be useful in the world, and I wanted to do something useful. I was studying to be an RN. You know what I mean? So
was RN
like a registered nurse.
Oh,
you know, I wanted, bro. So I was actually going to do that because I really wanted to do something I knew was helping people. I was working at Louis Vuitton and all this stuff, and I just wanted to learn something that I knew was saving a life, right?
Yeah.
And ironically, one day this guy wanted a ring from me. He saw that I had 2 lion rings and he had 2 skull rings. I'm like, it's my Uber driver. He almost crashed the car. No, in fact, it was my cab driver. I ain't even Uber yet, so it's just a cab driver. So it's like, yeah, the cab driver almost crashed the car. He's like, yo, I've been trying to get a lion ring like that. And I was like, no, I'll trade you one for one of your skull rings. And he was like, yo, man, I'm getting evicted today and everything, but yo, this is really helping me through it. You don't even know. And just that interaction made me like, nah, I'm going to do fashion. I'm going to do art. I'm going to really do this because you can really help people.
Yeah.
By giving them things.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, okay, like you could give them this ring and he almost ended my life. We would not be here because he's like, shh, what? Like, how you having it? I'm like, yo, my boy gets me these rings all the time. Like, I request them, but you know, like just being able to do that simple interaction. So yeah, my why is like, wanting to help people, wanting to show the people that there's a purpose for you here, and you can do that in many ways, but art does matter.
Yeah, and even just on that point exactly, most people think about, we all want to have some sort of meaningful impact in the work that we do. Well, maybe not all of us, but I feel like most of us do. And there's a lot of ways to save lives. You don't actually need to be a doctor or a surgeon in a hospital and, you know, literally saving lives. people will say all the time that there's their favorite artist or this song or this musician that actually saved their lives, because you never know how the work that you're putting out is impacting someone. We could, not saying that this happens through my podcast, but whether it's a podcast and you're speaking about specific topics that people have thought about but they've never heard other people really delve into, and just seeing people be so open about certain things, that could be a way to potentially save someone's lives, get them. I mean, there's some people, like I always shout out Charlamagne the God, but he's big on therapy.
Yeah, Charlamagne.
If people listen to his podcast,
I know he get a bad rap, but he does say a lot of important things.
Yeah, exactly.
That a lot of people do need to focus on, and that was one of the things that I like that he talks about, like mental health, and that's something big in the community, and that I wanted to segue in that to the art too. But I'm letting you.
It's a conversation. What I told you before we started recording, I said it's a conversation. We go with the flow, like the name of the podcast suggests. We could even get into the mental health right now.
And it's crazy because that's some of the exercises I've been working on, like letting people have their things, you know what I mean? I feel like, I'm so in this world of like, take it over. It got to be a Moda world where I'm just like, yeah. But it's like, I got respect for people, all right? I'm just letting y'all know I do respect y'all out there. If you feel like, damn, last I saw Moda, he didn't even care. Bro, no, I'm just trying to put my flag up, man. I ain't even trying to conquer your thing. Everybody throw your drain up here, but I'm here too, man. But like mental health, man, that's really been an ongoing theme for me. I actually didn't care much about that growing up. I was just here.
That's probably a factor of the times, though. It wasn't something we were allowed to care about as Black men, especially back in the day.
This is it's for real. So this is something that I've been honing in as because you no matter what you do and where you go and who you hang around, and I still identify as a Black male. You know what I mean? So from being a Black young man, I still am growing. My son has just turned 5. Happy birthday ish, and I'm a Black man who's an artist, who's a father. It's my mental health is very important. It's crucial for the future of the next generation to come, right? And whether I knew it or not, I play a role in that. And mainly taking out time to set boundaries has been a thing for me. I've seen how my lifestyle has affected many others. You know what I mean? People have come around, and I'm a free guy, you know what I mean? And I just let everybody be free, you know what I mean? So it lost in, that freedom, we see what people will do for freedom. So yeah, it becomes a little chaos around me sometimes, and trying to lead people down the right direction. Cause after all, they're all here for you, and that's what I have to be responsible about. So that's been a journey and been a theme for me.
How did having a son change your perspective on life and affect your mental health for the better?
Well, it was more about like, it helped me get a focus, right? Because growing up, I wanted, you're naive, you think like, I'm going to save the world. I'm going to change the world. I'm going to pack all these people. I'm going to get to them. But it's like, what he gave me was like, nah, bro, you just got to get to that one. You know what I mean? If you could get to that one, that's all that matters. You know what I mean? Get to yourself.
Yeah, I love that, because sorry to interrupt, but if I agree, because I'm also someone who has very lofty goals and you want to change the world.
Right.
But as Michael Jackson said, you start with the man in the mirror. Fix yourself, and then if you fix the people, not even fix, just impact the people around you for the better. And then if every single takes it upon themselves to do that, all of a sudden the world is a much better place. So it's better to start from immediately around you. Yeah.
And just it's Black History Month. Shout outs to W.E.B. Du Bois, and he had something called the Talented 10. And that was one of the things that I hold very dearly to me. If you be that example, it starts off as 1, but then it might 2, and then, everybody's over there like, oh, wait, what are they doing over there? And then it's 3, and then it's 4. So, yeah, that's what it's about right now. What I mean? For me especially, and I'm glad that we're here and we're able to share this space and time, man.
Me as well. Thank you for DMing me on Instagram.
Nah, for real. Thank you for having such an illustrious platform for us to shine on, man.
That.
So, shout outs to the people that have been coming here. I just saw the last one too with the young lady Samira. Yes, Samira. Mike, coming out here. Good luck on your ventures out here in New York City. You know what I mean? We're out here. I'm out here too.
Shout out Samira. Yeah, I just love this again. And always repeat it because I think it's important for people to know the why. This is why I do it, for people to tell their stories and showcase who they are, and realize that although we all come from very different walks of life, like I was born in Lagos, Nigeria, however many hundreds of miles away.
Right.
You're from Queens, New York. There's people from wherever you are from. We can all find that common ground, chop it up like this, and let people take that in and learn a little bit about themselves and each other.
Like, it's crazy because I'm even finding out recently, like my family has moved from Aruba to Brooklyn.
Aruba?
I've got Arubian roots and things that I'm learning about right now too. So yeah, like, shout out to my Haitian brothers and sisters, my West Indians out there I grew up with, my Jamaicans, Trinidadians. Like we all here right now, and it's a great time for us to express ourselves. So I hope that this reaches you, and you just know that you got a American brother here in New York City in the town. Like we really here, so let's connect. Let's keep on doing things. I'm very interested in what's to come between myself and my brand, because I'm wanting to collaborate now more. Like, again, from my earliest stages, I was like raw. I'm just me, my stuff. Like, I don't want to mess with nobody. Like, I got this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But yeah, that's what I learned. Like, yo, if you really want to elevate, you want to get next to people that are like-minded, and I'm ready to pour more into that. Like I do a lot, man, so that was one of the things, just about the artwork. I've started to stray more into telling that story into the canvases, and it dawned in my first series after my son was being born, How to Be an Artist collection.
I'm gonna ask you about that. I'm not. We'll get there.
We ain't gonna
we'll
try.
Get there. Let's go. Let's go in order. Because first I wanna. Let's speak about the painting now, and let's go actual.
You can chop that out.
Nah, we don't chop. We just put it out as it is. But taking it back to you initially getting into painting, because I read that you were a self-taught artist. Why was that a form of expression that you even wanted to delve into?
Right, because I actually went to school for fashion marketing and management. All right, so I was like 17, 18, I had to get out of my house, man. Like I couldn't be there anymore. I was putting myself through college though, and in the midst of that, when I got there, I had lost my younger brother, man, who was like, we like my twin, you know what I mean? The whole reason behind everything, all my ideas, we would bounce everything off each other, rest in peace, Ishmael Hanif Abdul Hakim, his birthday would be coming up the 20th of this month, wow, the same day as my art show.
Wow.
Didn't even realize that. Right. So, yeah, doing, I was going to school for fine arts for briefly, but it got a pause because of the tragedy that happened with me and my family, and it led me to being more and more into this like world. Like I was in a dark place, man, you feel me? And I knew I had to get out, you know what I mean? And although I wasn't in school anymore, I learned something in running a business. I worked in Condé Nast, Louis Vuitton. I got a taste of it, you know what I mean? So I felt like at the time, 2012, the world was supposedly ending, you know what I mean? Like, right, it was supposed to be the end. I'm like, yo, bro, well, I'm dying like this. Like, I know this is who I am. I don't know how to do it per se, but I got enough to say that this is who I am, and I was confident enough to say like, this is how we rocking, And I remember I was working on a painting of Black Madonna, and I saw Black Madonna like, through stuff I'm watching and reading, and I saw that, and I'm seeing like, out there like, yo, bunch of white people praising this Black Madonna in a church, and I'm like, what is this? I've never seen this before, and there's like 700 of them in just on one part of the world, and I'm like, wow, I'm in Queens, like if I did 701, could that be like, could that count? Does that count? Like if I painted one on this canvas right here or this shirt, So a client came to me one day wanting a belt while I'm in the midst of this. I don't know why, I didn't have anything to make a belt and never said I make belts, but I offered him this design I was making as a canvas, and I'm like, yo, I put that on something for you. Yeah, I made this shirt, and I'm like, I'm making his. I'm like, bro, I want one. I'm making one for me. Yo, we make this. Yo, everybody in my neighborhood, everything changed. Like, I'm getting orders left and right for these shirts, these hand painted things, and here I am now, 12, 13 years later, like, that's what I'm known to do. Like, shout out to people like Dapper Dan, Scooter LaForge, Patricia Fields' team. These are people, Chris Habana, Faith Connection. These are people that brought me along the way. Arson Y, Jungle God. These are people that I got to design for and express this soul group music, cello, Trap Hefe, like everybody out there, SUV8, Star Jella, like, yeah, that's really, y'all remember, what it was like, the days that of us running around wearing it now and being it, like, hey, this is what I do now, and that's what made me this is why I continue to just like stand strong in it, because I was making the first piece and I was shocked that somebody would even pay for it, buy it. I would be in my backyard like, yo, like, it's weird. Like, why would somebody put this shit on to go out? And, like,
I mean, I would hope everything you make, you hope somebody would.
It was dope. I thought it was cool stuff. Like, but I'm like, bro, like, you gonna pick this over to Ricky? Not gonna pick that over to Rick Owens. And nah, my boys is like, nah, bro, he got Rick Owens and I'm wearing this. I'm like, oh, wow, okay, say that.
Yeah.
So you find a place, doing it.
For the, I guess either or, between the fashion and the pieces that you were making, and also the arts and the painting that you were doing. At what point did things really start to take off for you? Getting some more recognition, working with some people, even getting some clients, because there had to be an in between.
Oh yeah. That, like, so it really, when we started doing the music, like, that was one thing. My boys, we got signed. Cardi B used to open up for us. Davies.
Cardi B open what?
Yeah. So that's what I'm like. Yeah, it blows my mind sometimes, because I used to be like the guy who not wanting to show himself and not be seen, and let the music do the thing. And at the time, it was like getting into that, and because I was doing that, people talking, and you think you the shit. You know what I mean? So you just going all around the place like, yeah, I'm just walking up in stores like, yeah, bro, I should paint these jackets. This shit is boring. You know what I mean? So I'm walking up in straight, like, that led me to Faith Connection. One time Faith Connection coming into town, they're a Parisian group. They come, shout out to Maria Bucciolati, Micah, who got me in there. Fabian and Micah. Yeah, Micah, though, Micah discovered me, and I'm outside in Soho, where we was just right in this area, like literally in this block. So there's a block on No Mercy Street, Mailbox, we used to call it. Mercer, you know what I mean? So I'm here, just, Chief and we here. I just finished doing some whole other project, some interview. I got like jackets, stuff with me. Everybody's like talking to me, and then Micah comes out. He's like, you should try and draw something in here. And I came in there. We couldn't, at first there was a fashion event going on. And, we just the street kids from around the way. They ain't letting us just go in there. But they came out, somebody needed a lighter. And my boy Cliff, Young Soul, he had a lighter. And they let him in there. And then the rest was history. They was like, yo, come here, work for it. They loved what I did. I drew like this Sailor Moon on this handbag. Before Sailor Moon was cool, okay? I drew that on this bag, and they just loved it. And they like come in. And from then, I went from street artist, to now I'm in-house artist. I'm like, oh shit, I'm not just like motherfucker in my basement or in my little studio or my man's trap, like come pick up a jacket or whatever. Like, I'm really in a store now. Come find me, and shout outs to Reflection Dynamics, because I've tried to do these ideas with other stores, but they didn't quite see the similar vision, no offense to y'all, the guys, you know what I mean? But Faith Connection is what really saw me and allowed me to give me those wings to soar. And then I ran into Chris Habana, who's a costume designer, and I started learning things like that. He brings me on to bigger projects. In the midst of that, I'm learning about me. I was going through all kinds of stuff. I've got a son on the way. You're supposed to be a rock star or whatever. You know what I mean? So it's like, why am I doing this? You know what I mean? And that's what birthed the artist. You know what I mean? Like, because I didn't love it all.
Yeah.
I didn't really just love it. Like people thought that I love it. You could go back and you could see me in pictures not loving it.
Yeah. And was it through Chris Habana, sorry?
Yes.
That you then did pieces for Lil Nas X, Doja Cat, JID?
Yes.
Or how did all those collaborations come about?
So JID actually came through Faith Connection, me being at Faith, really not particularly just their clientele or anything, like Soho, people frequent, celebrities frequent the neighborhood, stylists always coming around looking for new stuff.
Yep.
Shout outs to Zoe Sheesh. I forget her name right now. She's a very big stylist. She styles for Pusha T and everything. I'm sorry, Zoe. I forget your last name right now. But she was one of the people, and JID actually came in one day, saw these pants, these Balmain pants that I was working on, and just went crazy and just wanted them just off the rip. He's like, nah, I'm wearing these tonight, Saturday Night Live, or actually on Jimmy Kimmel. So he wore these on Jimmy Kimmel, which you could go YouTube. We gonna put the link.
Yeah, well, at the VA, leave that to me. Yeah.
Right. So that'll be there. But he was wearing that on Saturday Night Live, so it was like, yo, like I can accommodate you guys. You know what I mean? And I'm just really standing on that. And then I went a little further with Chris Habana and just like, yo, he brought me on for large projects with other members of his team. Then he started entrusting me on solo part of the projects, like painting and carving. So I got to carve out bones and things like that, weird things for Doja's AOL performance, doing things, running around for him to get specific pieces and putting things together for him, and being on Lil Nas X projects. And that was like even during the pandemic. So it was like, yo, I'm needed and the world is ended. We're here and it's over and they still need me to do this.
Yeah.
I guess I'm doing this.
There you go.
So and that was clutch too, being able to come through for a guy like that and deliver, and everything was smooth, and it was exciting. And more recently I got to come through on a Halloween project for him and Doja. So it's frequent. We got a few more things in the works, you know what I mean? I'm not gonna say too much, but yeah.
Just a little teaser, stuff on the way. stuff on the way. And I know we're flip-flopping back between the
fashion is a fun conversation.
Yeah, for sure. I just want to speak about Art Basel, which even before we delve into it, first of all, I don't even truly know what Art Basel is. I just know that a couple of times here, maybe once a year, I just see a bunch of people in my Instagram story in Miami, and it's Art Basel. What is Art Basel?
Okay.
And then we can get into your...
Okay, so you have to say Basel.
Art Basel.
Right?
So what even is it, and speak about your participation in it over the years.
Art Basel, right? And the real Art Basel is in Switzerland. I want to say it's been going on for like maybe 40 years, give or take, maybe 60 even, who knows. It's more recently come to Miami in the last 20 years, and it's been really popular, been growing and growing. I myself have been going like the last 10, you know what I mean? Excluding the last two Basels, because I've been up here doing some New York stuff. But Basel is like the artist playoffs, I like to say.
Okay.
The artist playoffs, people come from around the world. One, as it is, just to go to Miami and shake their ass. You know what I'm saying? So they're doing that. But Miami is just the place for art, fashion, and fun, like in a nutshell. It's not like be honest, you guys are lit. You're not quite on par with what New York is doing with how we got our scene with certain things, but they have their own art scene that is really phenomenal, that really gives shape to a whole nother world, and it's like, yeah, art, fashion, and they really embody that there. So I suggest, like, in this lifetime, go do the real thing, go to Switzerland, but Miami, go to Art Basel if you can, and get that experience, because it's fun. It's a very good introduction to art and seeing how far it can take you. I mean, like, local people from the neighborhood have gotten well into it. It's changed a lot of people's lives that I've run into, It's real fun, It's very welcoming.
Okay.
Very welcoming.
Okay.
Basel.
And that's something that you've participated in now over the years.
Many times.
What was it like the first time, and what's the value that you get out of going every year?
Oh man, it's crazy. Yeah, the first time. Yeah, do your research. You want to do your research about that, and that's always going to be the case. That R&D is so important. But do your research about the galleries, about this specific place, about the people you want to attract, right? Because I came there the first time with all this fine, deep art and this Renaissance work. They was not caring about that. They is geeked up. They're not worried about, I'm trying to break down the Madonna to them and all this. They're like, I'm trying to get some retina and the Alec Monopoly and all this other stuff. So they like that. And bro, I had to learn that's an expensive fucking lesson, bro. All right, that's an expensive lesson. Learn that like 3-4 times before I got it. And I'm like, all right, bro, I'm gonna just do Sailor Moon. Everybody like went crazy when I did that. You know what I mean? So I make this big Sailor Moon. Yo, brother, I spent every fucking thing like, I want to say 2018. So I've been going like since like 2015 or 14, around that point. And really running back and forth. But let's like, by the time I'm there and I'm done with doing the fine art and people not getting it, I'm still doing that stuff. But it was like, you know what? I got some of my blue series here. People are quite not getting the contemporary art either. Let me do something really cool that is me, still, not too far from what I want to do. Canvas is a lot of space. You want to make it impactful if you're going to lug this thing around, and I did it, bro. I spent everything to do it. I'm losing everything. I lost like a bunch of equipment on my way. I was on a Greyhound, bro. Somebody got my Nipsey out there to this day. The good Nipsey. You know the one. If you know me, the good Nipsey. Somebody got that, baby. Please take a pic in it. And I lost all that, bro. 15 minutes before the show opened, I get the painting up, hanging. 15 minutes went by. The joint sold $15,000.
Damn.
Worth it. It was like,
everything happens for a reason. That's damn.
Freaking manager wasn't even around. Dipped on me to go with some other artists that she felt was cooler. You know what I mean? Cooler than me.
I guess on that point, when it comes to your creative process, and for me, I'm someone who I've been to most of the museums, the art museums in New York City, and I walk around.
I'm still catching a lot of them too, though. But you're in a good area for that. Though.
Yeah, all over the city. And sometimes I'll go to a museum and I'll see an art piece and I will look at it and I'll appreciate it, and then I'll read the meaning that they always have right next to it, and I will be like, that is not at all what I got out of it. So I'm just curious for you as an artist, when you're going up, you just mentioned how you did this whole piece, so people necessarily didn't care about the meaning or appreciate the meaning. What is that balance that you try to strike of, I'm making an art piece, I care about something with a deeper meaning versus I just want something that's aesthetically pleasing. Right. What's that balance?
And it's actually interesting because actually right around that time, around 2018, and I kind of lost myself in that space a little bit because it became like, more about trying to people please, and especially because these things are expensive. It's a lot of investment and time that you don't get back. So it's, you want it to have a return. You know what I mean? And it's funny because I speak more like a business guy, running, businessman running the artist, and that's just something that's important for Moda. Like he needs that return. I see how hard the guy works, you know what I mean? So yeah, you start getting too caught up in the trends. And right now I'm getting back, and I have been back the last few years, just being in that space of like, yo, bro, do this why you wanted to do this. That's what people like. People love that about you. It's created a lot of things, and I think everybody kind of goes through that at any point. You want to think like, yo, I'm so perfect, I'm gonna skip over that. It's like, nah, bro, you in there right now. Like you don't even see it. You there right now. So yeah, I've had to shake that off and just get back into like, bro, like I do this. I know what I like. I know what other people like. I'm sure about that. We're feeling the same thing, but the challenge is like you're always growing, like yesterday is nothing like, it's never going to be like how it's going to be today.
Yeah.
Like,
who you were yesterday is not who you
nice
are. Nice
podcast with this great gentleman here. You know what I mean? How bad could it really have been? You know what I mean? But it's been a journey, for real, getting to this very room. You know what I mean? Like literally this morning. Yeah. And
now speaking to the collection that you referenced a little bit ago, the How to Be an Artist collection. Tell me about that. Tell me how that came about. What was your creative process?
Yo, man. So when I was at Faith at Connection, I was having my kid. I could, people were telling me good things about me as an artist. I had friends trying to commit suicide, caught up on drugs, people in bad places that I couldn't feel like anything was good for me, and that became something that happened again later on. Magnified, like it multiplied later on in my career. But it was like, yo, I started to look at myself like, bro, I can't be normal. Something's wrong with me. Like, if my friend is like this and like that, and I come from this and all that, who am I? Like, what am I doing? You know what I mean? Like, am I doing something good? Like, am I a good person? Like, I don't think so. I don't know so. You know what I mean? So I started looking at myself like that's the subject. So that's what, like, as I'm doing that and I'm thinking, I'm like, I'm down, bro. I'm depressed, bro. Like, my coworker's here, like, he's just laughing because he ain't never seen me like this. He thinking I'm joking, like, and I'm seriously, like, not talking, like, not saying. He's just recording me. And then one of my friends, the young boys around the neighborhood, the YNs from around the neighborhood, you feel me? They like, yo, Moda, yo, the Bear is doing a sample sale. They know I do paint. He's like, yo, bro, I got you mad buckets of paint. And it's Fashion Week. So I guess that's their pop-up. That's what they doing in Soho. So, you know, Bear, you remember the year they dropped Blue. So they do Blue Print Brew. You know what I mean? They do brew. Right? And they bring me that, and I'm like, yo, this is the color I need, you know? And right when they bring me that, I found this big board. It was heavy as shit, bro. Like, you know, it was the slab to a desk. It was in front of Rick Owens. And I just felt like, yo, like, I mean, Rick Owens is right around here. Like, I'm trying to give you a timeline. Like, think about it. I'm on Mercy Street, Mercer, going like, yo, I'm tight. Boys, I'm smoking. They're like, yo, Moda, we got paint for you. I'm like, you know what? Perfect. Heavy board. I'm like, yeah, the weight of everything on my mind, like, yeah, you know, the skull, like the anatomy, like what makes me me, you know, what's in there, you know what I mean? And I just started drawing that. I'm like, yo, bro, like, you know, I feel like I would just end it all, but I know I shouldn't, but I would, you know what I mean? But I know people don't like, why would you say that, Moda? But that's just how some people feel. Some people feel like, yo, if I could just take it and somehow give it back, like, I've come here, I figured it out. Oh, here, I'm done. Even though there's more to do, you know, you don't know that. That's how I felt at the time. And I wanted to provide a solution. I had a mentor that would always, you know, Jocelyn, good. She would always tell me, like, you know, try and be the solution. And I'm like, what is the solution? You know, and then my aunt would be like, oh, don't get pissed, get proactive. You know, Saeed would always tell me that, like, you know, and yeah, I wanted to figure out a way to get out of my situation. And I'm painting it. I'm out there painting it one day, finishing it, getting there. Lady behind me, I didn't even turn around. I'm just like, yo. She's like, oh, wow, I like that painting. How much is it? $2,000. I didn't even turn around. She like, oh, I like that a lot. I'm like, yeah. Give her my Instagram. Gave her my number. I'll holler at you. She hit me up at 2 a.m, said I got 15. I said
15 what? 1,000?
100.
Oh.
Yeah, right. No, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, right.
Yeah.
That came later though. Don't get it does happen. You know what I mean? So it was like, oh, 2,000. I'm like, she's like, oh, I got 1,500. I'm like, nah, you ain't getting that, but I'll make you one. Yeah, made her one right before she left to Mexico, and she took it with her. So yeah, I wasn't in the greatest places. She still has that, and she watches me to this day, like, you know, and to think like, wow, I've never been to Mexico, and I got a fucking painting in Mexico.
In Mexico, there you go. One day you got to go to Mexico and check it out.
So now this idea that I had in my head that I just made up, you're telling me it's worth what I said it's worth?
What? So how would you say art has been able to help you, save you over the course of the last couple of years?
Man, it's just like that. Like, you know, for me, I've really grown up like an orphan in the streets, man. Like, you know, I haven't had any like one particular set group, aside, you know, from my friend that, you know, my best friend that, you know, luckily, thankfully I have, but, you know, even then, like, I'm always around. Like, I'm not with him all 24/7, you know, and growing up like that, yo, you gonna bump your head a lot, kid. You know what I'm saying? You gonna, you know, reading helped a lot. But as I started doing the art, it was like, okay, every time I have a problem, I can create the solution. You know? And there's danger there, but you know that's how it saved me, you know. And it's crazy because even as I realized, I'm like, yeah, that's why I guess people think, you know, the life gets dangerous. You know, it does, because that is a lot of responsibility for a young random dude from Southside Jamaica, Queens, who's just growing up. Like, oh yeah, you know, you're gonna create all the things, everything, even the things that are raw that you should, you know, think about before you say, you know, who you're saying this stuff to. I'm just saying it raw, you know. But I think I was meant to at that particular time, you know. And right now I'm more focused about the healing stages in my life, and using this art the same way how it helped me get out of it. I'm gonna now help me heal myself really completely, because now I'm away from everything, you know. So I'm still healing myself. Like, you know, bro, I started sleepwalking, you know what I mean, and crazy thing like having survivor's guilt, you know, something I didn't even know what this was, you know what I mean, like, you know, because I'm feeling like guilty about just being in my position. But it's like, bro, this is the work that I did, you know. This is the inevitable, what's happening. So I'm trying to be that Moda in the future, you know, now.
Yeah. And so that's a little bit about how art has been able to help you when it comes to artists and whatever responsibility they have with the work that they do. What do you think? Do you think there's a responsibility that artists should have when it comes to putting out
Yo,
their
I mean, like
work?
it's funny because yo, I'm lackadaisical a lot, you know, really at heart. But the reality is, I know that that can't be everybody. For me, I know the type of person and the path that's been set for me is my responsibility to tell the truth. Like, as an artist, the person I'm trying to get to, the people I speak for, and I try to speak for, I look to represent. It's important that I tell the truth and really show that. So that's something I've always been been honest about. I've done my best, you know, without trying to expose myself too much, you know, because that's been the challenge, you know, staying true to why I do this, which is, you know, all the things, but mainly, yeah, my responsibility as an artist. Don't forget that, like, I'm not here to just look cool and try to be around all of the things or the women. It's not really about that for me. You know, it's more about just being honest and telling the truth.
And when you look at art today, 2020, was it February 15th, 2025, how would you describe the state of the art world? It's a broad question, but
Yeah, nah, that's crazy. It's actually um due to, you know, we seen what Kendrick did, you know. So he and I know that's one corner of art, but that transcends everything of where we are as a race of people, you know, like all of us, you know, where what we think is popular, what, whether we like it or not, you know what I mean, it's what we put on the forefront for all of us to see. But I do think art in general is in a very good place, since the pandemic, since people have been made to push themselves beyond what they typically know. Art is in a good space and in a growing space. It's more open right now, whereas we used to feel gate kept, and on the outside, fashion was more territorial, but they're doing things that are unconventional now. You know, brands are collaborating nonstop, and they're utilizing different old fabrics and old design. Like, we're recycling things, we're upcycling things. Fashion, art in general is in a very open space, in a unique space that um you know, we didn't see mumble rap coming, you know, and then that's taken over. Who to think that saying, "Ugh," you know, go up crazy, you know what I mean? So, you know, I think it's just a very experimental time, and I think people are willing to accept a lot of that because we're just tired of same old last 20, 30, yeah, like the Drake versus Kendrick. I'm like, all right, cool. Now what? You know what I mean?
yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
So when you are able to sit down, reflect on your career thus far, it's still much more to accomplish, but you've already accomplished a lot. Whether it's being an Art Basel, winning awards, having paintings commissioned, what would you say it is that you're most proud of that you've been able to accomplish so far?
Yo, that's a good question. It's a good question. What am I the most proud of so far? Right. Um, I want to say, yo, you know what it was? is more recently I actually went to Chris Habana's show, his own fashion showcase within his workshop, his private work studio, which is very intimate space for him, very important space for him. And knowing that I know this guy, knowing that he invited me personally, and I was able to bring my team there. No tricks, no nothing. You ain't got to do nothing for me, nothing like that per se. You know, we're working together. We're here. Come through, hang out, have a drink. Being able to share these moments and these spaces like this has been my most prideful thing, man, because I remember like, yo, I wouldn't be allowed to come. I wouldn't be allowed because of how I looked, or maybe I didn't have the things. You know, I didn't have the money. I didn't have the thing. I didn't have all the cute girls with me, you know, or maybe I did. We were all just poor. You know what I'm saying? Or we just don't fit the demographic. Nowadays, I'm like, I'm a 12-year congressional, whatever. And they're like, oh, him, yeah, let him in. Oh, I have heard his name. It's a thing I can share. I mean, and I want to be able to do that and give people a space to be like, yo, like, I believe in you. Like, Mo, if you could get to me, you know, you got an idea and we can get to get this energy out. You know what I mean? I'll be one of the guys. You know what I mean? You know, because I remember like it's funny because like you coming up and you think like, yo, if I just hit this person's DM enough, they gonna invite me and then I'm gonna be at Donda. It ain't going down like that. You know what I mean? But I don't know how it goes down. You know, we still learning. But I know I want to be one of those people that reach out.
Gotcha.
So being able, that's one of my most prideful things, be able to share this space.
Love that. All right. Now I think we could, so I know you want us to do some spoken word.
Yeah.
Do you want to do that before or after the song segment? So I asked recurring segment, I do have my five songs.
So I wanted to do that in the other segment. So you know, we could just close this out. I didn't want to show you
we could get to the pieces, we could get to spoken
and
word.
show you some.
Yeah, we're in the last like 10-ish minutes.
Yeah. Just give you an idea.
Yeah.
Show you. You know, this is one of the older Moda pieces. You know,
make sure you speak into the mic. Sorry. Yeah, camera's there, mic's here.
Mic's here. Right.
Yeah,
I'm getting used to this. So this is one of the older Mr. Moda pieces. This thing is like 2016. You know what I mean? Ride period, died period. Like there's no or for me. This is all about loyalty. I'm here with you. I'm going the full route. Like, you know, so that was like one of my.
Just make sure you stand in the camera so the people can see it. I'm
like, yo, I don't know. Should I be seated?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
There you go.
Right,
Yeah.
Boom. So So it's an older piece right here from 2016. Mr. Moda piece. You know, it's been through a lot of things. Not a Crystal came out, man. Sheen, washable, all the things. Heavily distressed. I used to write, but I still do time to time, not only things on the outside, but on the inside. Yeah. I'm over here like, why am I showing it to you as if I don't wear things? You know. Maybe you should try something.
I could try. I'll try one. Let me try one on right here. Which one should I try?
Pick which one that calls you.
All right, let's see. Let's see what we got here. Oh, I like this last one right here.
Okay, so that's great. So we go from old Moda, right, to more recent Moda pieces where.
First of all, I'm showing to the people.
Yup. Check that out. Right, let's see how that fits on you. Let's see how it looks.
Little impromptu fashion show. I love it.
Right. You know, it's always going with the flow here. Everything you never know.
I like that. I'm clipping that. Always go with the flow.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Sitting here coining phrases. You never know when you go with the flow. TM, trademark, 2025. Oh my gosh. I like the. Yeah, it might be your size.
Damn, I should have worn this. I should have worn this
the whole time, right?
Yeah, this is tough. This is tough.
It looks so good on you, man. Let's get a little. Shit. So this is inspired by the Japanese markets that I've worked in. More so, a client of mine had a trip to Japan. I was working with this Japanese man.
I'm wearing this for the rest of the episode.
Right, Tokyo. Welcome to Tokyo to New York is the name of that magazine I was working with, and it just inspired this New York to Tokyo pipeline. We've been just trying to funnel here. And there's a lot of fashionable Japanese people, of course, we know, that live out here in New York. And I think that's kind of what I've been doing lately, just because as I'm getting into my culture, looking at the cultures once again that throughout New York City, all the different characters and people who feel very strongly about their culture and that still wear that, you know what I mean, you as you are from Nigerian,
Yep.
you know what I mean, very Niger. So it's another one. So it's another Mr. Moda classic. You know, some of the first things I've done, man, you know, hand painting, big on the art. You know, I started really trying to tell that story through the you know, Adam and Eve story, garden.
Your hood's in the way.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. I was trying to, you know, working with Chris Habana, started playing around with different textures and things again on all these pieces that I got. You know, a little quick spin. You know what I mean?
Very tough. Very tough.
From a client of mine, Fortune, you know, another music artist. So I was doing a lot of these growing up, real leopard fur, and you know, romanticizing the story of where I come from, the street life that we were living. You know, kind of telling that thing like these. I used to feel like, you know, your outfit is like your armor, protect you from the stares of people. You know what I mean? Like now when they stare, you give them something to look at. You know what I mean? They're not just looking at you with disgust or peculiarness. It's like, what does he do? Is he an artist? I'm like, no, this guy's a professional criminal. Nah. But it's
and are these available for people to buy, or where can they find it, or what's the deal
so
there?
You can contact me directly or email, go on my website halamoda.com. Contact, you can hit me up or through Instagram messaging, but I prefer email or the reach out to me like that, or 347-878-1754. That is the company number. But yes, we are showing at the Confessional Showroom now here in New York and Miami. So if you're ever here and you're a stylist and you're interested and you got some new looks, new clients, and you want some new looks, you can either visit me at my studio here in Brooklyn or visit the Confessional Showroom here in New York and Miami.
Beautiful.
Yep. And that
beautiful.
We'll put that up on screen or somewhere. Yeah. I'll send that.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Right.
All right. Now to the last portion of the show.
This is a newer piece too.
Okay. No, you good? Yeah. Show it to the people.
You know what I mean? New design.
Make sure you again. Sorry, camera's over there. Yeah.
I'm gonna get this right, y'all. See? For like, man, so
tough. Now, so we have the regular song segment that I do to end the show, but Moda's also going to do some spoken word for us. So which do you want to do first? Your spoken word or the 5 songs that describe who you are as a person?
Oh, you know, we could go through the 5 songs.
Okay, yeah, let's do that, and then we'll end with the spoken word. Beautiful.
Yeah. 5
All
songs.
right, so I'm just going to you can pull up the list.
Pull up the list, right.
Yeah.
I know the first song.
And then you could just say the song and why you chose it.
Right. And then play? Are we going to play it at all?
We usually don't play it. I feel like there might be like copyright issues.
Okay.
Probably
yes.
not.
Of course.
Yeah. Well, we won't play it.
I was wondering that when we were doing it. So the 5 songs I really feel.
It just makes into the mic. Sorry.
Yeah. Excuse me. Sorry.
You're good.
Back. Yep. Let me just pull that up one time.
I hate how well this jacket fits. I'm gonna have to.
I know, right? I know, man. I'm like, son, that shit look good on you too. I'm just like, yo, I know my boy Vaughn watching this shit, punching the sky. Like, yo, I can't wait to get the hands on my jacket. I know you want that one. Yeah. First song, Rock and Roll Gangster by Alan. One is an old school song. Like these, you know, the songs I chose. Like I grew up in a music house, so my grandfather collected all these old records. Like he sold a lot of records. Burned his own, had his own music shop in Harlem. Ran a couple of businesses. So I really grew up around music, like a lot. You know, tapes, historic, just Black American culture. You know what I mean? It documents Nina Simone and Muhammad Ali speeches and fights, and you know, and Rock and Roll Gangster reminds me of that time. And if you listen to the song and the lyrics, you know, it talks about like the newspapers say they don't like what you're doing on stage, but the kids like, you know, say you're the man. You know what I mean? You know, and that is that's it right there. Believe in yourself from the time you was a kid, man. Like, nah, like I was meant to do this. I was meant to reach you, and that's what's more gangster than that, man. But believing in yourself and being true, like we gotta get back to the real meaning of things. So I think rock and roll gangster is a perfect thing to describe me.
Nice. Song number 2.
All right, the second song I want to say is Wherever I Lay My Hat by Sanchez. Wherever I Lay My Hat, Sanchez. And it is a song, there's a lyric like, he's like, yo, I'm just a boy who's on the run, who's always on the run, but wherever I lay my hat is my home. I feel like it's I'm not like a Rolling Stone, but I'm not either. You know what I mean? Like, I'm always on the go. I haven't necessarily found my place that I feel like is it. Yeah, like New York is that, but I'm still trying to build my thing. Like, where am I at? I don't know if that could end up being here, Paris, Ghana. I don't know.
Mexico?
You know what I mean? Mexico. You know what I'm saying? You don't know. And yeah, so that song, that's why that one. 3, I would say Change is the name of the song by Family Circle. And it's like, and we know it's a recent sample. I don't know if they're going to block me. It was like, girl, you know that you have got to change. You know that song. Ooh, babe, if you want to be fair. Like, it's such a real thing because I have gone through that in a recent relationship where it's something that applies to even both of us. But I just know that it's something that has been a common theme in my life. Like, if you want to be fair, if you want to really be the man you want to be, the woman that you say you are, you got to make this compromise in life, you know what I mean? And get rid of those evil ways that we have, you know what I mean? Because we so used to getting back at people. Like, we don't want to admit that we got this side of us, you know what I mean? People, don't want to be real about like, yo, I got a tendency to, turn up on somebody or like, be foul. So I think that Change is a very important song to me right now by Family Circle.
Number 4,
Hollywood, Rick James. Hollywood, that's where we going, baby. End of that.
I love it. Manifest.
Feel me? That's where we going. This is it right here.
And number 5.
Number 5 is One Life to Live by Skinny Pimp. All right. It's 3-6 Mafia. Like, rest in peace, OG Mako. Rest in peace, my uncle, my younger brother. Anybody we lost on the way doing these things, man. That song right there, One Life to Live. My uncle had this tattoo, One Life to Live. And I remember seeing that, and that is what I'm all about. I'm just going full throttle. You know what I mean? And word.
You only live once.
Only, that's all as far as I'm concerned.
And then I know you wanted to have us end with some spoken word, so just whenever you're ready. Shout out WTF Media Studios. Nobody does it better. Yeah, shout out Wolf.
Wolf on the keys. Let's go.
I mean, I had to hold myself back during the interview.
Your whole life. It's a lifelong thing. Bad things don't disappear because you don't like them. And bullies don't disappear because you don't want to fight them. It's a lifelong thing. You got to embrace them and face them, not neglect them and hate them. Another one will surely replace them. It's a lifelong thing. I know you wanted to. I know it feels better to run. It feels better to run far, but running makes you tired. And then it's there, freshly dressed and full of energy, ready to wear you out. And tell me, are you really ready for the fire? I hope you will be, dressed for the occasion, dressed in the right attire. It's a lifelong thing. It's a lifelong thing that you cannot escape from. Ready or not, here it comes with another and another from your sister and my brother. But at least they'll be together. You know, That's a lifelong dream of mine, you know, to be divine, comfortably with God, sitting in his seat while my seat decline. I wonder, will we ever share this peace of mind? You know, for every seed in the, no, boom, excuse me. You know, for every sand in the sea of time, there's a grain in this, boom. For each grain in the sand of the sea of time, there lies a seed that needs to be grown and watched over and protected with eagle eyes. But who am I but a young man who grows into a decent guy, standing on top of my pillars of my belief? I watch the lives in the past written that give me my relief. So I prepared my whole life for this speech. From Sunday to Sunday, I got stares from the week. That's it.
Nah, that was dope. That was dope. That was dope.
Rusty.
I feel like we should just end it right there. I feel like that needs to be the final word.
That's it.
I don't even, unless you got something else to say.
I had, but I feel like for the sake of time and making this just what it needs to be, I appreciate you for letting me get that off, Flo. Like,
of course. I appreciate you for coming on. Appreciate you reaching out, showing love to the podcast. This is why I do what I do. Mm-hmm. And yeah, it's a great episode. I think people are going to really enjoy listening to. So I really, really appreciate you coming on. This has been another episode of Go With The Flow. Thank you for listening.